Richie B, the party master, on Up and Go.
We say good morning to you. My name is Richie B. Good morning and welcome. This is Up and Go all the way till 11 o'clock right here on the bridge, 99 FM to the world. Are you noticing what's going on in Barbados? Mia Motley is making the news again. Of course, she announced her cabinet and she has cut it from 26 members to 20 members in this new installation. And we see a number of things happening there. She's offering the opposition 2 seats. Yeah, she has offered 2 seats in the Senate to the opposition parties. Yeah, because, I mean, it's a clean sweep that she had. She also wants to change the Constitution to allow for the appointment of an 18-year-old whose name is Khalil Kofdiwala. And he's set to become the island's youngest senator at 18 years of age. Yeah, Mia Motley she knows how to make the news. And she has announced also, I note, that she has a senior ministers kind of fraternal where 3, I think, of her senior ministers are, although they have their own cabinet positions, they will also be charged with the responsibility of overseeing some other younger members of parliament. And so she has a senior ministers fraternal that she has introduced. And, you know, names like Santia Bradshaw is inside there, and Dale Marshall, Attorney General, Kerry Simmons is there, Jerome Walcott, Wilfred Abrahams, who is the Minister of Home Affairs and Information, also in the cabinet in Barbados, Indar Weir, Ian Gooding Edgehill, Lisa Cummings, Kay McConey, Dwight Sutherland, who is the Minister of Housing, Lands and Maintenance. Kirk Humphrey is there. Adrian Ford, the Minister of Environment and National Beautification and the Blue Economy. Colin Jordan, Davidson Ishmael. Charles Griffith is there as the Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. Ryan Strawn is there. Chantal Monroe Knight, who is the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister. And Sonia Brown is there as the Minister of State in the Ministry of Health and Wellness. So it's a smaller cabinet that she's going with, and it seems nobody is complaining. But one of the things that popped out at me looking at what's going on in Barbados right now is the fact that there are 3 women who hold leadership positions. You have the president, who is female. You have the prime minister, obviously female. And you also now have Santia Bradshaw, the deputy prime minister, also a female. So there are 3 females in charge over there in Barbados. Have you noticed that President Biden is apologizing to a Fox reporter for calling him a stupid SOB? Yeah? Yeah, I think it was a press conference, and he was asked some questions. And in fact, he kind of lost his cool very neatly and almost calmly referred to him. And he was on open mic. I don't know if he didn't realize, but he kind of said, what kind of question you asked me, you stupid SOB? And it was all picked up. So the reporter says that the president actually called him the very evening, and he says all is well. They asked him whether or not the president apologized. He says, there's really no need for an apology. I was just doing my job, and whatever comes with it, I take. But he says they had a good conversation, and the president made sure to reach out to him. And I guess he was kind of saying it's not what it sounded like. But he called him out a stupid SOB. Come on, President Biden. I mean, I know the ratings are a little bit down, and you're under some pressure, because they still don't know what's going to happen in Ukraine with the Soviet buildup of our armory and armed forces. But you have to be careful when you're at the mic. A word to the wise is sufficient. Time now, ladies and gentlemen, for WTF. What the fact? Here's the fact we're sharing with you this morning. There are mites that live on human faces, spelled F-A-C-E-S. I thought it was important to spell it. And you actually have some on your face right now. I said face. Okay? Yeah, these are tiny beings that live on your face. Microscopic follicle mites. called Demodex. They make their homes in human eyelashes, in eyebrows, in pores, and in hair follicles. Now, Demodex are minuscule, 8-legged, worm-like creatures that are totally harmless. Still, there are definitely some things to know about them that will make you shudder. Yes, they do lay eggs in your pores. No, they don't poop, at least while they're alive. Instead, they hold their waste inside their bodies and flush it out onto your skin upon their death. Seriously? WTF? So, all you Puritans in the building who are behaving like, hey, I don't have nothing going on. Yeah, you got some mites on your skin and in your eyebrows right now. You got Demodex laying eggs all over your face. I can't even see them. I might have some myself, coming to think of it. And truthfully, can't do anything about it. What can we say? And it's time now for our proverb of the day. Today's proverb is nice and easy, one that many people will recognize. When you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
Chicken Mary hawk the near.
Just like that. Chicken Mary hawk the near. And the translation for that one? The chicken, unaware of the danger posed by the hovering hawk, makes merry. But that's not the end of the story. Let me tell you now by way of the explanation. When you hear the proverb, chicken merry, hawk the near, it means danger can lurk in some of the most unexpected places. We should therefore temper our most light-hearted moments with a little sobriety. Sounds good? Yeah, I agree with that. I have no issues whatsoever with that. So whenever you hear chicken merry, hawk the near, just remember that danger sometimes lurks in some of the most unexpected places, and so you should always temper your most light-hearted moments with a little sobriety. If you adopt that policy, you'll definitely be around for a much longer time. Now, our guest at this time is the opposition spokesperson on health and wellness, Dr. Morais Guy. And you might have heard recently where he was calling on the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, to remove the limit on COVID-19 testing at government facilities and also to ensure that as many persons as possible are tested each day. Dr. Guy went on to explain in Parliament that persons may have the COVID-19 variant but are asymptomatic, which will cause an even wider spread of the COVID-19 virus and its variants. We're joined at this time by Dr. Morais Guy. Good morning, Dr. Guy.
Good morning, Richie. Good morning, listeners.
Welcome to the program. We haven't spoken this side of town since the start. Yes, in a while. How have you been?
I've been good, thank you. And how have you been?
Not too bad at all, Doc. And again, thank you for joining us. First of all, I want to start here. What is your assessment of the current Health Ministry's management of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, first of all, a lot of we as a nation got a lot of information from the ministry last year in that the ministry had predicted this fourth wave of the pandemic and that the nation was assured that there were measures in place to protect the nation during this particular time and to cater for those who are ill. But we're finding now that that was all just words saying and nothing necessarily in reality what is happening. Because we're seeing our hospitals being overwhelmed now by cases. We're seeing where we are at an average of about 50% positivity rate now. And we're seeing that some of the measures that I called for that you opened the program with are not being adhered to, which are just normal public health practices, in that you need to test more people. And particularly in light of the fact that even though it has not been proven yet, but everyone is going by the fact that it seems as if Omicron is here, and I am one of those as well, that the measures of testing and increased testing because of how Omicron presents, as we have been told by the scientists, that it is more transmissible and it presents with less symptoms. So, and there are many persons who are also asymptomatic, as it does occur for the other variants as well. But because of its increased transmissibility, Omicron poses a present danger. Now, if you do not test as much and expand the testing protocol and expand the reach of testing, there are many persons who are going around simply saying that they have a little cold or a little flu. I mean, I practice medicine, so I hear that coming to the office many times, and there are many of those persons, a significant number, who don't have a little flu or a little cold, but they have a COVID-19 infection. And unless we are able to test, isolate, quarantine, and prevent those persons from interacting with each other, then we won't be able to break the chain of transmission.
You call for more testing. So obviously is it that there are limits in terms of how many persons are tested?
Well, yes, certainly. The health staff. Well, my concern initially was brought home by reports which are verified coming out of St. Joseph's Hospital that it is only 25 persons who are being tested each day.
Oh, really?
And yes. And what happened was that you have to be there very early in the morning, Richie, to get that number from the security guard, right? And there are people, as was told by me by a client who went there, from 3 a.m. waiting to get tested because they had been there the previous day and they had passed the 25, so they had to come back. So you had a limit on the number of testing. I mean, I can understand and appreciate that there are times when the staff will get tired. Yes. But if that 25 number is bandied about, the fact is, and adhere to, it says that there is a cap on it. The minister has said that there is no cap. But I suspect that he has said that in going forward, and I'm happy that a statement is made to the country. So all the persons who go to these testing sites can get tested, and can get tested if they have symptoms and are not limited by a restriction in the number of tests.
Because if we're not doing testing for larger numbers, then it means that we're not seeing exactly the extent of our problem as
Certainly.
It might exist.
And basically, it would give you a good want to have a good picture to say, okay, I have less numbers in my country than actually are there. Now, the Prime Minister said you can test if you want to know what the prevalence of it is in the country, or you want to test because you want to know the total number. My view is that we ought to know the total number in this country. In fact, Richie, the more you test, you might test more persons who are negative as well. And that probably would be a positive for the country, that it will reduce the positivity rate because you have a higher number of persons who are tested. No, but my from a scientific perspective, one needs to test as much persons as possible so we can contain it and, as I said, break the chain of transmission.
I hear different figures being bandied about, Dr. Guy, in terms of what it costs to get a test done. I on the weekend decided to just do a test. It cost me $6,000. They say it usually is $5,000 Mondays through Fridays. A colleague of mine did a test recently. He paid $10,000. Do you have a concern in terms of the cost of getting tested at the private facilities?
Certainly, and that was one of the concerns I also said in the Parliament, because the fact is, the more testing that you do, first of all, the government needs to expand its own public facilities for testing in increased number of testing. Secondly, in terms of the private sector, the more players you have in the market, demand and supply will of necessity cause the price to go down. The tests do not have to cost that much. When you think about it, the cost of a test, buying it from the suppliers, works out to probably about just under $2,000. Right? The other is profit and overhead. So if you are paying $10,000, as a friend did, and whomever is doing that test is making $8,000. I agree that there has to be some investment in the facility for testing. But I think that those prices of necessity can come down if you expand the number of persons who are involved in testing, but at the same time ensure that the test kits that are being used are those that are approved by the government.
Yes. Do you foresee test kits being provided to our citizens, like has been the case in, the United States, anytime in the near future?
That, I think, is part of the intention of the government. Mm-hmm. I don't know how soon, to answer your question specifically, how soon that will happen.
Yes.
But the UK started it first by giving home testing kits. And it was from that time, in November, I think it was October on the 26th, 2021, when I also said to the Prime Minister, can we consider these home testing kits that, as in the case of the UK, and have those for schools and have nurses who are attached to high schools trained to do sampling, and for those primary schools that do not have nurses as part of the establishment, to have a community health aide or one personnel within the teaching staff being trained how to do sampling and testing, utilizing the antigen test kits, so that in the event of any respiratory illness among staff or student, you can readily do a test there, do your, if positive, do your isolation and your quarantine, and then you call in the health authorities to do their work. And I recommended that from as early as October 2021. I'm happy now that the government has decided that they're going to give some to the schools and that it is the policy of the ministry now. Unfortunately, they've not given to all schools. So we still have a lag in terms of those who are supplied. But I think it should go one step further in that the home test kits should be available. In fact, there are some pharmacies that currently sell home test kits in Jamaica.
Okay. You would have noted that the World Health Organization recently made a recommendation for nations to lift travel bans and mandatory vaccination upon entry requirements. Do you think that, closing the borders of these countries is an effective or ineffective way of containing the transmission of COVID-19?
Well, the truth is, is that I would think that that particular recommendation by the WHO really should apply to those countries that have high vaccination rates, where there's less likelihood of the transmission or the severity of the virus if people contract it. But in countries with low vaccination, we still will have to have some form of control to see how best we can protect the population whilst we ramp up the vaccination program. So whilst it's a commendable recommendation, because I think the WHO, quite frankly, in my view, is not only guided by health but also guided by economics, to have the world, as it were, come back to the near normal as one would like, then that has to be part of going forward. But from a purely scientific point of view, I would think that it has to obtain in some countries or in those countries which have less vaccination rates.
Okay.
Such as ours.
What's your parting shot today? What do you want to leave with us, or your word to the Ministry of Health and Wellness? What do you want to say before you go, Doc?
Well, all I just want to say is that, for us to fight this thing, it demands a collaborative effort. The effect of us working together will only augur well for the country, and we can fight this thing together as long as we are we on the same page, as long as we put our heads together and recognize that the recommendations can not only come from government, opposition, civil society, all of us. We have ideas that could help, and as long as we huddle together and work with those, then we can overcome this current pandemic.
Dr. Morais Guy, always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks again, and you have a great day.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. All right, 13 and a half minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. That was a chat with the opposition spokesperson on health and wellness, Dr. Morais Guy. I'm standing by to welcome Red and Jay from G98.7. You're hearing them in the background. I'm hearing you, Red. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. We're good. We're great.
Oh, glad to
I'm
hear
here
that.
too, Richie.
What's up, Jay?
Not bad. I'm here, bro. I know we're having a little bit of technical difficulties in you seeing us. Maybe that's why you forgot about your boy.
I didn't forget at all. I didn't forget at all. I was go get you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But I'm not seeing you as yet. I suspect that my technicians will allow us to be able to do that in a short while. How is it this morning up there in the T dot, as they call it?
It's cold, frigid, minus 10 degrees in the city, and tonight it's going to be minus 22. Not even with the wind chill, just minus 22.
When it's like this, do you get a day like one day in the middle of the week that you get a respite from all this cold, or it's just like this every day to the end of the season?
Actually, last year was a lot milder. The only difference is we were working from home. So it's kind of, go figure. It is what it is. But usually what we do is we travel out of, we go to the Caribbean this time of year, you know.
Oh.
Some of us come down and visit the Caribbean, and that's the best way to get sunshine because right now we're not seeing it until when, Red? After your birthday.
No, we're going to see it before then. Days are actually getting longer.
Okay.
So, we got to be helpful. We got to be all good. But, of course, we got some music to bridge us over to that time and bring out the sunshine, right, Richie?
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to hear what you have for me today.
Well, we've got all kinds of goodies for you. You know what? We're going to leave that for Selective P. But we're also going to talk about Mr. Lex. First of all, how is Mr. Lex? We talked about him earlier in the hospital.
Yeah, he's hospitalized. We understand that he had surgery. He put a post out basically saying that his lungs collapsed in the middle of a performance that he was doing. And he had to be rushed to the hospital. And he was thanking the medical team at the Andrews Memorial Hospital on Hope Road in Kingston for attending to him. But he seems to be in good spirits. Not much detail yet in terms of what condition but just based on what he said. And his words are, my lungs collapsed kind of thing, So we want to wish him well and hope that he'll be A-okay in the very, very near future.
Yes. Prayers are out.
Prayers out for him, for sure.
You look good today, Richie. I'm seeing you on the camera.
Oh, you
got
are.
your
Thank
bee
you.
hat.
Yeah.
You got your shirt on. What's going on? Where are you going after work?
Where does I turn up?
Where are you going?
Where does I turn up the thing a little bit more today? You know what I mean? It's a Tuesday vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, Tuesday on the rocks.
Yeah, something like that.
I have to say, though,
difficult to get to that.
You want the system working because Red got all dolled up for you guys. Today.
No, I didn't. I just put on a little liner
She put on a little liner, and you guys would have saw her. Poor Jamaica's like, Jesus, please fix the camera. Back up.
Does she plan to get up out of her seat today, too?
Yes, and dance and everything. But you guys got to get the camera working so everyone can see her.
Audley was just wondering.
Man's like, Audley! Pick up yourself, my
you guys are making me want to do a fans only or OnlyFans account. What's it called again?
OnlyFans.
Yes.
You can consult.
No, I don't. Do they really make good money?
I don't know.
Seems that
Tell
way.
us.
It seems that way.
Tax free? Wait a minute.
We're not too sure about that. But you could actually ask a few people that I know. You could ask Maka Diamond. You could ask D'Angel.
Yes.
There are a few people that you could actually consult if you want to make that.
She can.
Transition.
Look, and you know what? She doesn't even have to work hard because if you've seen her IG page, she put up a post last night, a very nice one with her dancing. Go to her page.
Okay,
and she told Jamaica what the page is, and you can see one of the better ones where she's dancing and looking really good.
Thank you. I wasn't really trying. It was just a little, side sway kind of thing.
And we're going to be having a chat right now with Mr. Lenworth Fulton. He's the president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, the JAS. And you might have heard some utterances from Lenworth recently that consumers are to brace for an increase in the price of chicken from small farmers across the island beginning somewhere in the region of the end of this month. We have Mr. Fulton with us at this time. Good morning, Lenworth. How are you doing today?
I'm good, and good morning to you too.
Glad to have you on the program, Lenworth. How have you been since the last time we spoke?
Well, not all that bad. I'm hanging on.
And giving thanks.
I'm giving thanks.
Most definitely. What can you tell us that's happening out there in the agricultural sector in your capacity as the president of the JAS?
Well, as you know, due to international conditions in the main, we are facing increased costs for inputs, and therefore it is impacting the price of the produce. It is also creating a shrinkage in our production because as you move the prices up, things become, people buy less.
Mm-hmm.
So we are facing a problem which is not entirely an internal problem. It has to do with the price of feed and inflation abroad too,
Mm-hmm.
and the price of our own dollar have been fluctuating. So we have some real conditions, most of them external, but some internal, which impact both production, productivity, and ultimately the price of our output.
Would you say that productive capacities have been reduced as a result? Are there any shortages out there in the marketplace?
No, there are not really any shortages for now, because there have been a good stockpile of chicken in warehouses, mainly from the two major chicken companies. But if it continues this way, and the prices for one company said they will move up by 10%, and it might even go higher, then what this will mean is that you're going to see chicken meat in the region of $3.50, $3.70 a pound. And that is something that our Jamaican consumers will find difficult to buy the same amount as they bought before. Because really wages are low in Jamaica, We have a minimum wage of just $7,000 per week.
Mm-hmm.
And most of our people in rural areas and so on are not really in a stable job, so it's difficult to keep up. And they have to eat, and their children have to eat. So these things really shrink the market. So I sincerely hope that we will see the government coming in, even in the short term, to see if they can stabilize the situation.
What are your suggestions in that regard? I mean, the dollar is sliding, and the costs of inputs are going up. What are you expecting the government to do?
Well, in the short term, if they could give a subsidy, and here I'll speak, I'm not really one who support wide-scale subsidy because it distorts everything. And knowing that our government is grappling under the difficulties with COVID, the difficulty with getting our children back to school, and the crime situation, you'll have to ask the question, where will the government get the money from? So I am not going to be, kind of stupid here to say everything that happened, government should come in to give subsidy. But because you have 40% of the broiler meat producers, chicken meat producers, 40% of them are small farmers that are in these communities all over Jamaica that use family sweat equity to produce a chicken meat, and they do supply chicken to various markets, to the jerk chicken man, to the corner shop, and so on. And they all sell chicken from their place of residence to the people around them. Mm-hmm. So they fill a very, very good distribution gap into areas that you might not have formal trade. So the last thing we want to do is to see that 40% shrink to 20 or 30%. And even to add, most of these chicken farmers, small chicken farmers, are women. Mm-hmm. And they have to keep their children, going and keep them into school. As you know, the condition in Jamaica, a number of families are raised by women, single mothers, and so on. So we want to protect them. So even in that role, as giving some social benefit and some protection, if government could find it possible. And I do think so, because I am very in tune with the direction of this new minister, Minister Charles, because he's seeking consultation, he's speaking to people, and I think he's going to do well.
Okay.
Because what we really need is good leadership and to use our community people to give idea and to put them to work. And I hope this will happen.
I want to focus a little bit more on the whole matter of the increase in price of chicken meat. Now, I saw where Jamaica Broilers, I think it was, they put out an increase of 10%, right? I know that you say the small farmers across the island will also have to increase their prices. Is there a ceiling that you know of, or is it within the same range, say 10%, or will it likely be more?
Well, what I know of small farmers, both in chicken and other produce, their price increase, if it does happen, is not uniform, because they rear their animals and their bird under different conditions. Mm-hmm. Some have to pay rent, some own their own operation. Some have to pay labor, some put in sweat equity. Mm-hmm. Some borrow money through partner draw and so on. Some invest their own equity into the business,
yes,
which makes it a different operation from a large corporate company like Jamaica Broilers. And so and some of them are trained, most of them are trained, but some more efficient than some. So the prices will go up, but I do not expect anything to be less than, say, 6-7%.
Okay.
In that region.
Although it could be more.
It could be more, depending on the particular operation.
Mm-hmm. To the best of your knowledge, Lenworth, are there any mechanisms that are being put in place to prevent further increases going forward?
Yes, there are. To be frank, the RADA and the government have applied many measures, but some of what we need to do need what you call more structure in agriculture. When you look on land reform, you are leasing land to people with 5 and 7 year lease. This lease document, you can't take it to no bank, nowhere at all. It's too short. And when you charge $10,000 per acre, I know that people must pay their lease because there's an administrative cost that had to be covered. But not all the operation can pay this rental cost. Because if you look on permanent crops, fruit tree crops, ackee, mango, coconut, they couldn't lease land for that money and make anything of it. Because for the first 5 years, they will not reap anything. The trees will just be growing to a point where they can bear. If you look on dairy and beef cattle, it could neither because these are long-term investments. If you look on large poultry operation, it will going to take you probably $100 million to set up an operation to raise, to build a unit that can do 20,000 birds at a time. Mm-hmm. With the interest rate on that money, you couldn't make any profit. So you need some structural changes in agriculture, which we hope will come along from my former presidents, both Norman Grant, Glenn Harris, and Bobby Pottinger. They put on the table an agricultural fund which would give us a way to operate like how the housing trust operate. But governments, both governments, see housing as a very important criteria, and it is. But agriculture with food security is also an important criterion too. Mm-hmm. And since you don't have the underpinning for banks to lend us. Not that we don't want money to borrow, but the banks are saying agriculture is too risky, and if they lose the capital, they will go under. Then a society like these need an agricultural fund to operate like the National Health Fund, the Housing Trust, the Chase Fund. We really need something like that now. And
have discussions commenced with the government in that regard?
It has, and we have started the fund.
Oh, okay.
Remember, that fund was put on the table, and former minister, late Minister Roger Clark, began the fund with the Dairy Development Board. But they only take out the milk powder part of it. We are now calling for the full program to be implemented so that we can fund agriculture, fund the input, fund mechanization, and fund innovation in agriculture, because that's the only way we are going to grow and feed our people.
And survive. Yes. Lenworth, we're out of time in this segment, but I want to thank you for your perspectives as usual, and we wish you a great day. Thank you so much, Lenworth Fulton.
Thank you, too.
All right, our pleasure talking there with the president of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, the JAS, Mr. Lenworth Fulton. Brings our time to 9:43 a.m. Did you guys notice Ritical, who is from St. Thomas, recently stated that he wants to take a different approach to his music, and so instead of Ritical, who has been putting out songs like King in a War and Cookie Jar and some other songs with a violent perspective, he says he wants to kind of change his name to Puritical. And a lot of persons took note of that. One of the persons who it did not escape his notice is Agent Sasko, who, you remember, he was Assassin initially and then changed his name to Agent Sasko. And there are some people who feel that he was more potent lyrically as Assassin compared to him being Agent Sasko. He had to respond firmly to one of those critics recently. Well, Agent Sasko noted what Ritical has said, that he wants to now be referred to as Puritical. And he says to Ritical, salute to this young man for having the courage to choose another way to share his talent and express himself. This is Agent Sasko. He says, purity, please know you will be challenged and questioned and coerced into reneging on your decision. You are going to hear say you did bother as Ritical, and you will wonder how anyone could have an issue with positivity. Big up and all the best on your mission. That is what Agent Sasko said in reference to Ritical now changing his name to Puritical. We're very pleased at this time to welcome a brother who has been in the game. Music has been his forte for several years now. A man who likes to tell us that his music reflects his views on Jamaica's history and culture and the society in general. How many of you knew when he started in this music business with a song called Bloodshed a while back? He has been through songs like Sufferation, and there's so many, too many to mention. And he's still on the grind. An artist that we're proud of. Good morning, Ras Ghandi. Welcome, sir.
Oh, survives, manners, and good morning, Godfather Richie B.
How are you doing, Ras Ghandi? Long time no see.
Boy, my boss, may I tell you, whatever water you drink, or whichever water you drink, just go and drink it, because the man look like 21. Yeah, well, happy New Year.
Same to you, bro. At what age did you start in the business? Around about 21 yourself or younger?
Why, say officially, 12 years of age, street concert, mini school concert as well, but professionally at age 16 when I did my first recording.
Okay. So as a teenager, you were already knocking on desks at school and spitting lyrics and getting some forwards from your brethren and sisters?
Me I tell you, man, every teacher, every principal have problem with me on the next day, man. Just like every youth, you know.
What school did you attend?
First, Independent City College, then to Proverb College, then to Jonathan Grant, then to Denton Technical.
Ah, okay. And look at you now. Did you start out as Ras Ghandi though, and or did you make a change from Ghandi to Ras Ghandi, and how did that come about?
All right, that transition came about. I started out at Ghandi first, yeah, and then when I did the song, a particular song, I thought Stew. And that was when the transition came, and we started Rastafari, and me and my partner in crime them time, they wouldn't really have to call them name because everybody know who already. But we sit down hold a vibe and him say, so you would have to switch the name and add Ras to it because the Ital Stew song, so that's how the Ras Ghandi came about at that time.
So it came with a greater degree of consciousness,
Yes.
a change in your approach to the music and what you wanted to impart.
Yes, definitely. Because, my thing, I'm mostly rootical, truth, life itself, so I just think everything does both coincide at the time.
We have been getting some really positive songs from you in recent times. Let me start this segment by asking you, what has the pandemic taught you as an artist so far?
To appreciate everything and never to take anything for granted, because tomorrow is not promised to no one. Now we are all living in this new norm that we have to get accustomed to or accept. Because trust me, Richie B, based off of what I say, this not going no time soon.
So we have to find a way to just live with it.
Well, basically, we have to have it right now. Just come off a flight from Connecticut the day before yesterday, and actually sitting on the plane, and my whole vibe I come in and I look at me, say everybody in the mask, and I say, wow, this is the new norm. If you even consume something, you have to kind of ease off your mask and do it. It's very uncomfortable, but you have to just, adjust to this new norm until,
Yeah, it is what it is, Ras Ghandi, believe you me.
Trust me.
One of the things that people will have to, mention when they mention a Ras Ghandi is the fact that you're considered very lyrical, and and as the years go by, you seem to be getting better at it. Where did you develop this whole potency lyrically? Where did it come from?
Well, the most I create, and then definitely. I was very good in literature at school. We're English youth at school, so we could, all them essays and them poems and all them stuff. Yeah, we did very good at it. So I guess that kind of, propelled it. And develop all those writing skills.
Did those skills attract the attention of other artists? Like, have you written songs for other artists through the years?
Yes, definitely. Because I've penned for quite a few huge names in the business. But sometimes artists don't really like when you say you're this and you're that. You know what I say? So we kind of keep some of the things them, in our corner by itself. And sometimes when we head chip, and then they treat me as though them supposed to treat me, but that's what me to say.
so listeners are curious now though, Ras Ghandi. Are there any names that you can mention or songs that you can say, yeah, I wrote this, and there was a good arrangement between yourself and the artist? Any at all that you can mention?
Yes, definitely. Spice, let me say this now, on international radio.
Yes.
Spice, yeah, I'm the one who wrote her first song that was Elephant Free to Fly Through Them Rabbim. And I'm Bound to Kill That World Gone Crazy. King Yellowman, Johnny P, quite a few. Yeah. Quite a few. Anthony B, you name it.
Yeah.
Work with a lot of artists. A lot of artists.
Is that something that you find beneficial? And is that something that you would see yourself doing again going forward?
It is, but at that time, we weren't that knowledgeable towards the business aspect of the music. Because you see, within the earlier part of GB, it's like, it go more time as studio. You were there and a rhythm, a bounce, and an artist, him really can't find a flow, him can't find the words, him can't find the melody. And you're just excited for know, say, all right then, me I go give Richie B a strength. All right, Richie B, all this, boom, 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 boom. And you do that from the kindness of your heart and because you want that break. Well, in which way that was the wrong way to really go about it. But now that we study the business and know say every line count, we take different steps towards everything now.
Yeah.
And doing it on a more professional level. So when I write for Richie B, we know say the proper documentation and paperwork are properly done and signed and everybody get what they're supposed to get. Because if you left some of them money, you care what you forget, you're going to dead film. Serious.
And that is the truth. All right. If you just joined us, we're talking here with Ras Ghandi, ladies and gentlemen. Ras, you have been in recent times obviously taking note of the violence and crime in our society and the world at large, and you have been writing songs that speak to that kind of situation, obviously not in support of violence and crime. Tell us your feelings on what you're seeing going on in our country and in the wider world.
Basically, Richie B, signs of the time, biblical teachings as we read in the Bible, and that's one of the things where certain things, prophecy are fulfilled, but at the same time still, in my own country, Jamaica, it don't look good, none at all. And just the other day, Mr. Admiral Bailey, made a post, and I'm in support of what he said, but also the government have to find a way how to eradicate poverty. Poverty is what's causing crime in Jamaica like that right now. I tell you, poverty what cause that. And on the worldwide scale, trust me, God I go beat them, He might go beat them. Cause you know why? Ticking time bomb. We're standing on a ticking time bomb. Me not stay silent, me ready to rebel. Hatred a linger too near when we deal. Terrorism have we under demonic spell. Ready to live a heaven card down as so hell.
Time bomb. It's interesting that you make that point in your lyrics, and I was talking earlier on this morning about the fact that I'm actually wondering whether or not we're getting close to a World War III with what is going on.
Richard B, see it.
Yeah, man.
News, man. I see it. I see what I go on. I see enough people not pay attention, but me, weather news and sports.
Yeah, you that.
Them stick to, yeah, man.
And it tells in your music that you're widely read and you're definitely on top of your game. Listen, we really appreciate and applaud you on the direction that you're going with your music. We thank you for providing us with songs like the ones we're about to play from your catalog, which basically helps us to make the point to our listeners that enough is enough and we don't want no more violent killings in our society. Thank you again, Ras Ghandi. What does 2022 look like for you? What are your plans going forward?
Why, Richie B, them say, people let the pussy out of the bag too soon, but me I tell you one whole heap of something, one whole heap of recordings. Just record a song for Doobie Upsetter yesterday. Trust me, some whole heap of something. Shows lining up and all of that, but we still take the necessary precautions based off of the whole COVID thing, but a lot is in store.
May this be your best year ever. And what is your final words to all of our Jamaicans listening right now before we play those songs that we have from you beating down violence in our society? Your final words today.
Jamaica, me live a foreign, but me out there, yeah, just behave with yourself. Me a beg on. It no make no sense. See? That no make no sense. Too much killing a go on. Oh, some vibes at the bridge. We'll make a joyful night.
Thank you, Ras Ghandi. Have a great day. Great talking with you, bro. Much respect.
Blessed, Richie.
Today we're seeing on the front cover of one of our local newspapers where the Prime Minister had meetings with the head of the JDF, the newly appointed head, and of course the Commissioner of Police in a crime caucus, and he summoned the security bosses to cabinet meeting after almost 5 murders daily for 2022. It's not a good look. We'd like to also take a moment to congratulate the new head of the JDF, Rear Admiral Wames Gorman. I think her first name is Antoinette. And we see here where Mr. Christopher Zaka, who is the president and CEO of Sagicor Group Jamaica, has saluted her in a big way. He says he congratulates her for her 3 decades of selfless service to the nation and congratulates her on her historic appointment to lead the Jamaica Defense Force, the JDF, as Chief of Defense Staff. Rear Admiral Wames Gorman will tell you that she has never dreamt of success. She worked hard for it. And as she has always said, she joined the JDF to serve, and her service continues. Christopher Zaka's statement also reads, "We look forward to her tenure as she continues to lead and inspire the men and women of the JDF and the entire nation. She shines as a brilliant example of the strides we are making in becoming a more inclusive society where skilled, qualified, and experienced individuals have equal opportunities to serve at the highest capacity in their chosen fields." And he congratulates, of course, the new head of the JDF, Rear Admiral Wames Gorman. We join Christopher Zaka and all the others who have been commending and congratulating her and wish her well in her new position. And hi, Jody. What's up?
Hi, what's up? Good morning, everybody.
All right. All is well?
Yes, man, all is well. The music, though. I tell you, every time, stop ramp with me now. You saw I only dropped the scissors a while ago on a plate, but talk to you about that all the time.
That teasing thing that you're doing.
Yes, stop it.
if you don't change your, can we call them as wicked ways?
Yes, they're going to be a problem.
We're going to have to usher him out one of these mornings, because I saw you pointing, giving that finger like, what you up to? But I didn't realize what's going on. And he's over there laughing.
I'm laughing too.
You know what I mean? It's not even funny, brethren.
It's not funny.
Anyway, give thanks, Audley. And, Jody, I don't know if you realize, Cardi B is in the news because she won an award of $1 million in a libel case that was brought against a YouTuber. And she actually went to court and won. This YouTuber put out some information saying that in relation to her past and what she used to do, she says she became suicidal.
Yes.
And it affected her terribly. As a matter of fact, she says at one point she didn't even want to sleep in the same bed with her husband because of how badly these claims affected her. Mm-hmm. And now she went to court and won $1 million.
Kudos to her.
Yeah, it's not about the dollars for her, though.
No, it's just about her reputation. You can't just be going around, because these are celebrities. I think persons think that they can just go out there and say whatever they want, but they're human beings with feelings.
Exactly. Kanye is now dating a new lady, and you have a story in relation to that?
Yes, Piers Morgan.
Oh, Piers?
Piers Morgan thinks that Kim Kardashian is better than Kanye West's new girlfriend, Julia Fox. First of all, Piers just can't mind him own business. Piers can't just mind him business. Why am always in a celebrity business? Like, but don't understand it, sir.
No, but seriously, he went public with a comment?
Public, right here. I'm trying to look to see if I can. Right, so here it says, quite something to sound even more mercenary and grasping than Kardashian.
Oh.
No, I don't know why he never have to say nothing.
No, but I mean, the man has made a choice. His marriage had broken down, and he started dating
real quick.
And now, so what Pierce is doing is trying to do a comparison.
Which everybody is doing. If you check out Shade Room or TMZ, she kind of dressed like Kim Kardashian. Like most of her outfits, we have seen it before.
I saw her wearing a pair of silver boots the other day.
Yes,
and they said that it's the exact same thing that Kim wore
like
sometime
we can
before.
get the complete outfit of Kim Kardashian in something like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of weird still, but Kanye we're talking about. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Things are all going to be weird once you're talking about Kanye. But I think Julia's comment the other day when she said that she has always been dating billionaires. You think that might have been a part of what made Pierce go public with that comment?
I believe so.
Some people didn't quite like the way she expressed herself.
She expressed that. Yeah, that kind of come off tacky to me. But that's just my view on that. But I think with these celebrities, I try not to get in them business too much, even though it's fun and funny, because First of all, I think Kanye move on way too fast. That's just my business. But then Kim do the same thing.
The question is, has he really moved on though?
No, because if you have your current girlfriend dating exactly like your almost ex-wife, then there's an issue there.
There's an issue. And if you go buying a house just across the road from the house where your ex-wife
stick up in, he says that it's not because his ex-wife is living over there, it's because of his children.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Watch it. What you watching out for, Kanye?
I'm gonna go with that.
Anyhow, listen, man, we share them with you as they come up, and we just want to wish you all the best. Thank you so much for dropping by, Jody.
You are most
welcome. I like the way you said it. Pierce just need to mind him
business. Man. True.
That's all we're saying right here.
And drink some water.
Yes, as Patrice Roberts told us the other day in the interview. Drink some water and mind your own business.
Richie B, the party master, on Up and Go, The Bridge, 99 FM.